There will come a moment in your life when silence surrounds you and the noise of the world fades into the background. A moment when the mirror doesn't just reflect your face, but your fears, your failures, your doubts. And you'll be forced to ask yourself, am I the master of my mind or the victim of it? Most people never answer that question. They run from it. They numb it. They drown it in distraction, addiction, and excuses. But the truth remains waiting, silent, stoic, and immovable. Your mental attitude determines the quality of your life, not your bank account, not your followers, not the luck you wish you had. Your attitude toward life, toward struggle, toward yourself. This is the law that shaped giants, forged in the minds of Edison, Carnegie, Lincoln, and Ford. They didn't pray for easy lives. They built indestructible attitudes. Not because they were born special, but because they decided to take full responsibility for the one thing no one could ever take from them, their mindset. A positive mental attitude is not naive optimism. It's not a feel-good slogan painted on a coffee mug. It is a weapon. It is armor. It is the invisible force that transforms adversity into advantage, setbacks into setups, and problems into power. Because life is not about what happens to you, it's about what happens within you. You can't control the winds, but you can learn to set your sails. And that begins with belief, the most powerful force on earth. Not belief in luck, not belief in fate, but belief in you. When Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve," he wasn't handing you a motivational poster. He was giving you a blueprint to reality creation. Your thoughts are not harmless. They are seeds. What you plant, you harvest. What you nurture, you become. Think in limitation, and life will hand you a cage. Think in possibility, and you will begin to walk in freedom. But belief alone is not enough. You must decide with conviction. Every man who ever rose from obscurity to greatness, from nothing to legacy, first made a decision that their life would mean something. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election, but they decided that failure would not define them. So let me ask you, what are you deciding right now with your attitude? Are you deciding to complain, to blame, to wait, or are you deciding to rise? Because a positive mental attitude is not just a thought, it is a discipline, and it demands clarity. You must know what you want. Vague wishes will not shape your destiny. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. Do not say, "I want to be successful." Say, "I will become a world-class creator." Say, "I will build a legacy that feeds generations." Say, "I will rise from the ashes and live with fire in my chest." Clarity carves out purpose, and purpose ignites persistence. When you know why you wake up, your feet hit the ground with force. When you know why you fight, no storm can shake your foundation. That's how unbreakable attitudes are formed. Not through comfort, but through clarity in chaos. Don't envy the man who has an easy path. Envy the one who's forged himself in difficulty, because his mind is a fortress. Look at nature. The tallest trees grow in the fiercest winds. Steel is tempered in fire. And you are being shaped by every trial you face, but only if your attitude turns pain into purpose. This is why purpose must be paired with discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Without it, a positive mindset is just a fantasy. You cannot speak greatness and live mediocrity. You cannot pray for strength and train like a coward. Discipline says, "I show up, no matter how I feel." Discipline says, "My emotions serve my mission," not the other way around. When Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the wealthiest men in America, he found a common thread. They were relentless. They didn't stop when it got hard. They started when it got hard. Your attitude becomes unbreakable the moment you stop giving yourself a way out. Burn the ships, cut the excuses, trade comfort for character. Because the mind is like a garden. Leave it unattended and weeds will grow. Fear, doubt, negativity. But tend to it daily with focus, gratitude, and faith, and it becomes a force of nature. Gratitude is your sunlight. It transforms what you have into enough, and what you dream of into something possible. The man who is grateful for the challenge becomes greater than the challenge. The woman who finds beauty in the process becomes unstoppable in the pursuit. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means seeing power where others see problems. It's what allows a single mother working 2 jobs to raise a future leader. It's what allowed Nelson Mandela to spend 27 years in prison and still walk out with a vision for peace. It's not about what you lack, it's about what you leverage. So, what are you focusing on? Because what you focus on expands. And if you constantly focus on obstacles, they will multiply. But if you fix your gaze on solutions, on service, on growth, life opens up. This is not just philosophy, it is practice. It is daily effort. It is war, a war inside the mind. And to win it, you must train like a warrior. You must adapt. Let go of the idea that life will be fair. Let go of the need for perfect conditions. Conditions are never perfect, but you can be perfectly committed. The wind may shift, the ground may shake. People will doubt you, but if your mindset is unshakable, you will outlast the chaos. Resilience is not bouncing back, it's bouncing forward. It's using pain as propulsion, failure as fuel, doubt as drive. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not just resilience. That's an attitude engineered for victory, and you can build it, starting now. So how do you build that attitude? Brick by brick, layer by layer, until nothing and no one can break you. You train your mind like a soldier trains his body, daily, deliberately. You feed it what fuels growth. You starve it of what poisons hope. You don't wake up and wait to feel motivated. You decide who you will be, long before the world has a chance to tell you. You wake up and you speak life into your mission. I am not here to survive, I am here to build. I am not my past, I am my potential. I am not owned by fear, I am led by vision. This is how legends are born. Not in comfort, not in luck, but in the quiet, brutal mornings when no one is watching, and you choose to show up anyway. Clarity gives you direction, discipline gives you movement, but resilience, that gives you momentum, and that momentum, it becomes your identity, because the strongest force in the human psyche is the desire to remain consistent with how we see ourselves. So when you believe you're resilient, you act resilient. When you believe you're disciplined, you act with intention. When you believe your attitude is stronger than your environment, the world begins to bend to your will. It's not magic, it's mental alignment. When your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your attitude all point in the same direction, nothing can stop you. You don't need a perfect background. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You don't need a handout, a miracle, or a permission slip. You need you. You need to take full ownership of your inner world, because your inner world becomes your outer world. Every result, every win, every breakthrough, it all starts in the mind. Think about Henry Ford. He was ridiculed, bankrupted, doubted by his peers. But he said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." That wasn't a cliche. That was a commandment, a statement of spiritual law. Your beliefs build your life. Your attitude shapes your fate. And when you start to act from a place of unstoppable confidence, even before the results show up, the world has no choice but to respond. Because life does not respond to need. It responds to certainty. And certainty is a byproduct of mental attitude. So you have to see it before others do. You have to feel it before it arrives. You have to become it before you achieve it. You must walk like a king when your kingdom is still dirt. You must speak like a giant while the world still sees you small. Because attitude isn't about circumstances. It's about the standards you set in spite of them. Every morning the world will ask you, "Who are you today?" And every morning you must answer, "I am the master of my mindset. I am the architect of my emotions. I am the commander of my fate." And don't just say it, mean it, live it. Stand on it when the wind howls and the storms rise. Because storms will come, doubt will come, betrayal, failure. pain. They are not obstacles. They are invitations to rise. No one gets a perfect journey, but everyone gets a choice. Will you collapse when life hits hard? Or will you decide that nothing can break what you've built inside? That is the essence of an unbreakable, positive mental attitude. It's not a mask, it's not a fake smile. It is a deep, immovable faith that whatever happens around you, you will not be defeated because of what lives within you. You were not born to live in reaction. You were born to create. So act like it, think like it, stand like it. Let your attitude announce your future before your results ever show up. Let your mindset warn the world that you are not to be underestimated. Let your presence command attention, not because you shout, but because you embody conviction. That's how you move from surviving to leading, from dreaming to doing, from hoping to becoming. And once you do, the world changes. Not because the world is different, but because you are. And when you change, everything else must. The same job, the same challenges, the same daily grind. They all start to look different. Not because the weight is lighter, but because you are stronger. Not because life gave you a break, but because you broke through. That's the power of an unbreakable positive mental attitude. It doesn't just help you cope, it helps you conquer. It doesn't just make you feel good for a moment, it makes you invincible for a lifetime. And if the world still throws stones, let it. You're building a castle with every single one. If others still doubt you, let them, because your belief drowns out their noise. You no longer need approval. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer chase validation because you've looked in the mirror and you know who you are. Not perfect, not complete, but unshakable, because what you've built is not a fragile ego or a temporary high. It's a foundation, and no storm can rip out a tree with roots that deep. This is what separates those who live with purpose from those who drift in fear. This is what turns ordinary people into legends. It's what took a broke, uneducated steelworker named Andrew Carnegie and turned him into the wealthiest man of his era, because he understood, control your thoughts, and you control your future. It's what turned a failure-ridden writer named Napoleon Hill into the voice of generational transformation, because he realized success is not a secret, it's a system, and it begins in the mind. You are not your past, you are not your mistakes, you are not your fears, you are potential wrapped in perseverance, you are vision clothed in discipline, you are a force, waiting to be unleashed. But only if you decide, only if you commit, only if you refuse to live one more day as a prisoner of circumstance. It's time to rise. Because this world doesn't need more opinions, it needs more examples. It needs more people who live with fire, who speak with conviction, who walk like every step is a message to the universe. I will not be moved. That's who you are becoming, not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, right now, you decide, you declare, my attitude is my responsibility. My thoughts will build my life. My purpose is bigger than my pain. My discipline is greater than my doubt. I will not retreat. I will not shrink. I will not break. You repeat it until it rewires your brain, until your nervous system believes it, until your heart beats in rhythm with your mission. And then you live it. In your work, in your relationships, in your late nights and early mornings, in your battles, in your breakthroughs, because the man or woman who walks with a positive mental attitude does not wait for the world to change. They change themselves, and the world follows. So don't pray for a lighter burden, build a stronger back. Don't chase comfort, chase clarity, chase conviction. And remember, it's not about the storm, it's about the stance you take in the middle of it. Head high, shoulders back, eyes locked on the vision, unbending, unyielding, unbreakable. That is your power, that is your edge, that is your calling. So rise, not just for you, but for every soul watching, silently hoping you'll make it, so they know they can too. Rise and be the proof. Be the example. Be the storm. with the calm mind. Be the leader with the open heart. Be the light in a world that forgot how to shine. And never forget, you were born with the power to choose, to direct your thoughts, to train your mind, to shape your destiny. So choose wisely, choose boldly, choose the mindset that makes you immortal. Choose the attitude that nothing can break.